Okay, hello and welcome to Muscles Don't Age. Why should you webinar? I'm so excited to be here with you all. Even if you are not watching live and you're just watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. And I am Liz Philippone, and I help women and men ages 55 and over who are experiencing physical discomfort in their movement to improve their range of motion, gain strength, and build confidence through a pain-free exercise program. I have over 20 years of experience teaching and training individuals in various exercises and movement practices, including yoga. That was my very first sort of way into teaching and training people was yoga, and also bar training and total body strength conditioning. I'm also a corrective exercise specialist, so a lot of that is very near and dear to me. So I'm going to get started right now. Thanks for joining, Jody. Nice to see you. We are getting started. So I am going to bring my slides up in a moment, but I just want to ask you, especially if you're live, even if you are just, listening, just kind of doing what you're doing here, listening, if you could just drop in the comments, or if you're watching the recording, drop in the comments, because I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube. Why are you here? What interested you in this webinar? I want to hear from you. Why? So I'm just going to give you a minute while I share my slides. And you can drop it in the chat or drop it in the comments. And I'll be so excited to see that. All right. That's me. I already introduced myself. And these are just a few of the things, just 3 things that I'm going to go over in this webinar. Oh, let me just read this comment by Jody. My muscles are aging and I need to take care of them. Okay, I love it. That was a great answer. Me too. Yes, that's why I did, one of the reasons why I did this webinar, and I'm going to tell you why in a little bit, but I'm just going to go over a few things: the physiological and psychological effects of aging, essential movements of everyday life, ADLs, which stands for activities of daily living, and then how to power up your strength. I'm going to go over a really special program for you on how you can power up your strength. All right. So the physiological, psychological changes. Now, I paired these 2 words together because they go hand in hand, right? When we start to feel physiological changes in the body, it can mess with our psychological health, right? If you're watching this live or in the replay, give me a thumbs up if you hear me on that, because I know for me, as I've been, entering my late 40s, I know some of you that might be watching might be like, honey, you've got a long way to go. I'm experiencing changes for sure. They may be very small, but I am paying attention. I am paying attention. I'm just going to read this comment if I can see it in the chat, because I really want to make this as interactive as possible. Okay. Yes. All right. Jody's with me on that. Awesome. So after the age of 50, natural changes occur due to chronological age, right? Chronological age is the number, right? From birth to where you are now. So my chronological age is 47. All right, so natural changes occur as you move up in the numbers. Musculoskeletal, with the bones, the muscles, the joints, connective tissues. The endocrine system, which is your hormone health. The nervous system, which is connected to your brain health, but also stress, right? Which goes hand in hand with mental and emotional health, but cardiovascular health, which is your heart health, right? We start to notice changes in these systems. Of course, there's other systems as well that experience changes, but these are probably the main ones that most people experience. I definitely have been experiencing musculoskeletal since I entered my 40s, for sure. More stiffness, different things going on there. And then the endocrine system now as I'm in perimenopause. Fun stuff. But even little bits of things here, especially with mental and emotional health, right? As we get older, that becomes a stress on us. And that's one of the reasons why I just finished. Today's my last day in my 5-day nervous system reboot. It's a way to reboot your nervous system, ways to help your nervous system calm down due to the effects of stress. You know, as we get older, we start to think of, you know, doom and gloom, right? We start to be, you know, it's not very, sometimes it's very uncomfortable, right? To think of, as we age, these things are going to happen. And if we're experiencing them now, it can really cause more stress. And of course, as I said before, these are just more changes which coincide with the things that I just listed there: osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, osteopenia. If you don't know what osteopenia is, that is actually the beginnings of osteoporosis, right? That is something that we can reduce, slow down, right? It's that when the bones, right, your bones start to break down, right? But and then osteoporosis, right? Pore means these pores, these holes start to form in our bones, right? And which can lead right here to fractures and falls, right? If we fall, we'll fracture something very easily. Um, Sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle mass and strength, right? I'm going to tell you, this actually starts to set in between it starts to slowly set in between the ages of 20 and 40 years old. Yeah, quite alarming. And then it accelerates between the ages of 50 and 80. You know, so somewhere in between there, this starts to set in, right? If we're not keeping up or maintaining our muscle strength or exercising, doing weight bearing exercises. But when we reach in our 50s, it starts to go faster, much faster. And that's scary. And that's one of the reasons why people who are in the age bracket of, I want to say 60 and up, usually it's 65, start to experience falls. Most emergency room visits are due to falls and fractures. So just keeping that in mind. And of course, dehydration and basal metabolic rate. I'm not going to go too much into that, but it is something to think about your caloric intake changes as well, right? You might have done a certain way of eating, dieting at one point, but as you get older, things change within your chemistry with that. So I'm just going to move this little screen a little bit. So here we are with the 5 fundamental movement skills for activities of daily living. These are just 5 movements that help with things every day. And we don't even realize it. We don't even think that sit to stand, getting up from a chair or toilet, right? We want to do that, right? We want to keep doing that strong and with no issues, right? But what happens, right? We start to, as we get older, and a lot of my clients experience this, is it's hard to get up from a chair. It's easier to get down into a chair, but it's starting to get difficult to get up from a chair. Single leg work, and that's walking or stepping over things. So just simply walking, that's single leg work. Stepping over things, right? When we have to maneuver. Push and pull, opening doors, whether that's pushing a door open or pulling the door open, right? Some of these doors lately have been really heavy. I don't know if you've noticed that, some buildings you walk into. Lifting groceries and putting things in the overhead bin, for sure. Rotation, turning to buckle your seat up. And of course, hinge and row, picking up something from the floor, right? Picking it up, putting it down. So thinking of all those things and how we do that. We do that every single day. And then all of a sudden, putting something up doesn't feel very good in my shoulder anymore. It's starting to hurt my arm, right? Bending over to pick up something, picking up grandchildren, picking up suitcases while you travel, walking briskly through an airport or a store, being able to catch yourself from stumbling, right? That's another type of movement skill, agility, which I didn't put on here, but it is part of it. So just thinking about those things there. And I'm just going to you're going to see here. So getting up from a chair or a toilet, right? How long does it take to stand up from a seated position, right? You can ask yourself that. Do you just drop down into the seat? Single leg work is walking. I know I just went over these things, but it's not just balancing on one leg, right? It's not just about balancing and holding a balanced position. It's about the dynamic movements as well with single leg work and balance. Push and pull, opening doors, lifting groceries, suitcases when traveling, putting things up on the shelf, storing your luggage in the overhead storage bin, and getting up off the floor is super key with push and pull. You gotta push yourself a lot, not just with the arms, but with your legs as well. I mentioned rotation, turning the buckle of the seatbelt. This also throwing a ball. You know, you want to play ball with your grandchildren or your friends too, your peers, right? Maybe you play pickleball or I don't know, some other physical activity, and you want to be able to have that motion. And of course, I put checking blind spots while backing up in your car. I thought of that one. Thinking of other ones, maybe yourself with that. And then hinge and row, picking up things from the floor like toys or babies or children. Gardening activities like pulling weeds and bending over. I put gardening in here because I have a client loves to garden, loves to garden. And she was finding it so hard to garden these days. And we started working on different strength movements with weights, without weights. And now she's not completely, she doesn't get tired. I mean, she gets tired, but the one thing that's important is she's not getting those aches and pains that she used to get after gardening or injuring herself while doing these specific activities. I hope this is making sense. And of course, please put any comments that you have in the comments. So what is Power Up Your Strength? How do I power up my strength? Well, I have a program which focuses on building strength, enhancing joint mobility, but boosting confidence through a series of carefully selected exercises tailored to your body's needs. My next cohort is starting Monday, September 8th. Now I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Or maybe, no, I'm going to go to the next one here. So, and then I'm going to stop sharing because I am going to tell you a quick story, from my perspective and why I created this program. So why are you here? I know I asked that and I know Jody, you wrote because I'm feeling my body, right? I'm feeling my muscles, right? Maybe you're committed to making a change in your health or lifestyle so you can avoid future medical visits or surgeries. Like, have you ever been through physical therapy? Right? I've been through physical therapy. If you've been through physical therapy, you go through that and then it runs out, right? Because of insurance or whatever plan you have there. But do you continue the physical therapy? Do you do those exercises? Do you seek additional support with getting stronger, getting better, recovering better? Maybe you want to improve flexibility so you can move throughout your day as pain-free as possible. These all go hand in hand though. Maybe you want to walk at the rate you are walking now, or you want to increase it. You want to do a walkathon with your friends, or maybe even a 5K, right? But maybe you want to participate in some of those community activities. Traveling, things that will become difficult with traveling, think about it. Getting to the airport, lugging luggage through the airport, right? They have people to help you for this. They absolutely do. But why not keep that strong physical, that physical strength and endurance for yourself, rolling your luggage along the way, holding a backpack or a bag, right? Maybe you got to rush to that gate, right? Gate changes happen, right? What else? Those excursions. I have another story about that. Client story. Excursions you want to go to. You want to keep up. You want that endurance, and then you don't want to get hurt, right? Maybe you're going on an excursion that, you go to certain places in the world that the land is a little uneven, right? And you could fall, you could trip. And I'm not saying all these things to scare you. I'm being real about this because these are the things I'm thinking about. Maybe you want to keep up with your grandkids who are running around a lot, playing games, getting down and up from the floor, and maybe you're doing other caregiving activities for your parents or other relatives. Maybe you sit a lot during your day and you're feeling the side effects of that, right? Because sitting, oh man, right? Posture. Maybe you're sick of waking up injured. That was me. I started waking up injured. Didn't know why. Like, what's going on? My neck, my hip, my back. And maybe you experience seeing your parents go through some tough times with pain in their body, and you don't want to be that way at that age. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment here and I'm going to just quick, before I go into this program, I just want to share why I'm running this transformational program and why I have ran it this past year or so. And I'm very confident in the results you'll get because I have, and I am still transforming as well. That never stops, right? It never stops. We can't stop aging, but we can adapt and we can manage the symptoms that we feel. And like I said, I was experiencing in the past 5 years, I'm going to say the past 5 years, maybe more now, I just noticed these certain changes in my physical activities. I had different pains and aches, back, hip. And then my workouts that I had been doing for years, they weren't feeling so great anymore. They just weren't. My energy also was like, what the hell? Could be the change? And also, I started dancing again. Now, I had been a dancer for years, from 5 years old through, till college and after. And then, of course, that slowed down when life changes, right? I stopped training dance. And then it was after, I had my baby. And I want to say 5 years after I had my daughter, I started dancing again. And you know what? Boy, was it different. My brain was there on how to do things, but my body was not responding whatsoever. And did I hurt after that? Absolutely. And here's somebody I was physically active, exercising, doing all the things, weight training, and I started dancing and I was like, what the hell? I'm hurting. Like, what's going on? So it made me think. So that it wasn't really the exercises or the movement itself. They stay the same. It was how I was doing them. Maybe I needed to just change, adjust how I was doing these exercises, right? Making them a little bit lower impact, adding more core strengthening, and adding another part of strength training into my routine. Of course, we have flexibility training as well, which is important. But I realized, yeah, I have to do something different. Something's got to change. And it was a hard thing to accept, right? It's not fun. It's not a fun thing to accept. And a lot of the time there's resistance, right? There is resistance. Let me know in the comments if you feel me on that. Okay, there's my notes. So I have helped many people through my program who finished rehabbing an injury or are in the midst of rehabbing from an injury or a surgery, have noticed significant changes in their mobility and strength, such as difficulty stair climbing, lifting heavy objects, unable to get up off the floor easily, or they need assistance, or they want to be able to travel comfortably and go on excursions with ease and confidence. I have helped people make that happen. I have helped people make small, significant, really important, small, significant changes in their routines where now they're feeling, wow, it doesn't hurt to go up the stairs. I'm ready to go travel on that big trip. I can lift heavy objects, right? And so on. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now again. Oops. Let me go back here before oh, and we have a little. Thanks, Jody, for your comment. Oh, there we go. All right, I kind of already went over this, but the benefits of this program, you're going to recover better after rigorous physical activities, gain more muscle mass and strength. So walking, stair climbing, hiking, and caregiving does not leave you depleted or strained. A little typo in there. Improves your energy levels during the day, in your workouts and your traveling, creates confidence in that you will be healthy through all ages of life. So can't get rid of this thumb here. There we go. So what you'll get is peace of mind, confidence, less pain and discomfort in your movement, as well as preventing falls, less doctor visits due to injuries. Who doesn't want that? I know I want that for sure. I would love to have my just annual stuff, right? And that's it. Of course, I'm getting more annuals tacked on, but that's okay. I would rather just have to visit the doctor once a year for just that checkup. You're going to get clarity on your health goals and where you want to be. What do you want to be doing 5, 10 years from now? Take a moment and visualize that. Visualize what is your basis of an active body years from now? Like, what do you imagine doing? Maybe you're doing it now and you want to still be doing it. I know I still want to be doing what I do, whether that's dancing, teaching and training individuals and groups, traveling, keeping up with my daughter. I want to keep doing that for sure. That's what I see myself doing 10 years from now. And I'll be 57 in 10 years, and that's crazy. You're going to get weekly guidance and support from me, as well as community through a cohort of other individuals like you. So you stay accountable. Because that's what happens. When life happens, what happens there? I know what happens to me. I drop off, right? Things happen and we need that support. We need that support from other people to help us through. Even if we do have to take a hiatus, a little break from things, at least we know we have people that are going to be there for us, who are going to be supporting us. And I'll be there too, as well. We'll do monthly assessments to track progress. There'll be recordings of sessions if you can't attend in-person sessions. And there'll be additional videos, whether that's stretching, strength, and this really is 80% group and 20% customized to you. So in other words, and I'll tell you the steps in a moment, that even though this is right now a virtual program, I'm actually in the middle of possibly bringing it into a hybrid model right now. You'll be doing this with a group of people, but it'll be 20% customized to you. So how does this work? These are the steps. You'll sign up with this link. It's a 12-week program. And right now it is going to start September 8th. Whoops, sorry, going back here. Oh, look at that. There we go. That's what I wanted. So right now you would go to this link right here. It's a Stripe link. It's $1,100 for 12 weeks. And I have payment plans, of course, but here's the thing. You act now and you're going to get some freebies, of course. I'm going to go over that, but this is all you need to do. You go to this page and you sign up here for the program. Then you will get an email from me to set up your initial consultation. And in that initial consultation, which will take about 60 minutes or so, we'll go over goals, how the program will align with your goals, and establish your space to start and plan. It's all about having a plan and sticking to the plan. And of course, over a course of weeks, changing it if necessary. And that's where I am. That's where I will help you do. Because believe me, I've been through my own journey and I've had to pivot and change many times. Then I'll connect you with the Trainerize app. This is an amazing app that will connect you to other members. And this is an app that you're going to find on your phone. And I have to say, my participants they love this app. They love it because they see what people are doing when they do it, and it motivates them to do it, even if it might not be at the same time they do it. However, it motivates them, it gets them inspired to say, hey, there is something I can do. I'm going to go in and do my workout, my movement practice. That's where you'll access workouts, recordings of sessions that you missed or want to redo. Because like I said, I'm going to be doing live Zoom recordings with people on Zoom, and I can fit about 3 to 4 people in this space right now, you guys. So I do have some local people who have definitely joined me for that in past sessions. And of course, the motivation and support. We will plan a schedule that works for you. So even if you don't finish the program in exactly 12 weeks, it is flexible. And I know the whole thing about working out on Zoom, I want to just say that I know how important it is to show up somewhere. Some people say, hey, I got to drive somewhere in order to do anything. I get it. But sometimes things come up. Sometimes that schedule of those sessions may not work for you, right? You have people to take care of. You have things to take care of, right? So when that happens and you can't make it to class, what are you going to do? There is something you can do. So a lot of my clients are like, wow, if I didn't have this app, I wouldn't get my stuff done, because I post on it. It gives you that notification that I posted something, somebody posted something, so that will boost you. That will get you going. And these are just some things that people have said about my program. This is a client who has been with me for a couple years now, and she's 72, I have to say now. but with this program, she can carry the full laundry basket up and down the basement stairs without holding that railing. That used to be a real issue for her. She used to have her husband do it. And now she's like, nope, I got it. I got it now. She can get up out of a chair without using her arms to push, right? She just gets right up. And I love this too. No more naps during the day. Although I'm not saying don't have your naps, right? Everybody loves their naps, right? But she was taking naps a lot, and now she's finding herself, oh, I don't really need to nap. I feel pretty good. Like, so she's sleeping better too. I know this is really, really long, but when I mentioned the gardening and the grandchildren, this client of mine who went through a hip replacement, she's 77 now, but she had her hip replacement a few years ago. But even working with me, lifting her grandchildren is so much easier. Bending over to put on their shoes, carrying them up and down stairs is easier than ever for her. Her back would hurt and then she wouldn't be able to sleep. She used to tell me that all the time. Gardening, she loves to garden. She could be in the garden for hours. Her stamina is better when she's pulling those weeds, hauling things away. Her arm and her back strength, she feels it's really helped with all of that. And I love this. Her husband used to lift heavy water buckets for the chickens and ducks. They have like this whole farm thing going on. But now she can actually lift those water buckets. And they live in Virginia. So she's a virtual client. So and it's a very steep hill. She talks about this hill. She used to talk about this hill all the time. And she found it so challenging. And now she feels like her legs are stronger and her stamina is better now too. And she says it's from all the goblet squats and side lunges. It's probably from other stuff too, but it's making her feel much better, right? And we do talk about nutrition as well. That's something that is very important. I didn't go into the nutrition aspects, but that is a very individual thing, of course, and that's something that we would talk about in your consult. So thank you so much for joining me. If you know you're ready to start with me on September 8th, sign up with me by September 1st, and I will send you 2 sessions, videos. You can repeat. You can just repeat, and you get a bonus 30-minute session with me. And really, honestly, that is to, if you have any more questions, if you're just to like, I have a list of questions, please email me, or you can set up a call here. And what I will do is when I upload all of this to the YouTube, I'm going to upload this to my YouTube. I'm going to put all this information in the description. And of course, I'm going to send an email out as well. If you're not on my email list, shoot me an email. I will put you on there. And I'm going to stop sharing. And that is it. I know I went over a little bit, few minutes, but yes, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to stop recording. And thank you so much.